Hello, I'm Scott Blokey here with one half of your LFA 228 main event, Christian Navidad, ahead of his upcoming fight against Adrian Garcia. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good. And how are you feeling ahead of this fight?
Excited. My first ever main event. So,
Yep.
it's crazy. I've never ever headlined the card as an amateur or as a pro. And for my first headliner to be at for the LFA, I'm very, very fortunate.
And not only is it for LFA, but it's in your backyard as well. How much does that make it better?
It makes it so much more exciting just because I got the crowd with me. People say it's pretty nerve-wracking because you gotta, you know, impress the fans and impress like the people with you. But to be honest, I just feed off that energy and I know that we're gonna be having a good time come fight day.
And knowing your performances, you do make exciting fights. Just look back at your last fight, first round finish. They can't really ask for much more.
Yeah, it's gonna, it all ties to training hard and then
Yeah.
also embracing the environment around me. Everyone was all pumped for me. I was pumped for my fight and we executed, came out on top.
And how did you feel like that last fight went for you? Like, either like a performance.
I thought it was good. It's the guy was tough. I think he was like 9-2 or something with 7 or 8 finishes. He was gonna come out, be a scrappy guy, and I just went with the flow and got the finish.
And when you heard that the LFA were coming to your backyard, were you just wanting? Well, the main thing was let's get on the card. Never mind just headlining it.
Yeah, I just wanted to be on the card. I figured out by one of my friends that LFA was coming back. He's more Frankie Signs. Frankie Signs is the one who told me that LFA is coming back, and I told my management, "Yo, I heard LFA is coming back in March," and they ended up getting me a fight, and figured out it was the main event.
And you can't really get much better for your team. Even in the co-main event, you are represented with Amari. How is it being able to have lots of your guys not only just fighting to at the same time, but fighting on the same card?
It's gonna be a fun night, man. We got, I think, like 8 people from the
Yeah, like
lab
eight,
fighting on
nine.
the card. Yeah, dude. So we got a lot of people. Amari, he works really, really hard too. Me and him have been grinding throughout the past few weeks. We've been doing a lot of sparring rounds, just hustling blood, sweat, tears together. So we're gonna have a good time.
And I think what's great about you two is you both have such great stories. You both have like 2 year layoffs coming into it, and it just shows your grit to on the sport to come back, get that hunger, and keep the winning ways going.
Yeah, he's a savage. I believe he's 8-0 also, and
Yeah.
he has a tough opponent in front of him. So we both been training hard, and we're both gonna um showcase what we've been working for.
And coming into this fight with Garcia, what do you feel like your main strength over him is in this fight?
I say everything. He's scrappy, he's tough, he's confident up until they're not, and he's gonna come out hard. He's gonna be scrappy, but we'll see what happens.
And how active are you wanting to stay this year? Obviously, after this fight, you will move up to 9-0. Are you wanting to just try to wait a wee bit, see if that UFC comes calling, or are you looking for that next matchup straight away?
We'll see what the management decides. Me personally, I want to stay as active as possible, but we got to see what the management wants and what my coach wants. Try to be a little bit more smart throughout this whole process.
Exactly. And that's what you kind of have to be in the game is to have that smart mindset. Now, you obviously you would like to have that title shot coming up in LFA. I think there is an interim champ currently, but after that fight goes ahead, how would you like to get that title fight and get that belt wrapped around your waist?
We'll see what happens. If the belt, it's if that's an option, then I'll go for the belt. But if the UFC comes first, I'll go
Yeah.
UFC.
And obviously you are now training at the lab. Now you did used to fight at I think it's like Fight Ready MMA. What was it that kind of made you switch over?
I miss the guys that fight ready. There's good people there. I miss the teammates. My brother still trains over there, but I just needed something a little bit different. I wanted to switch, and I've been thinking about going to the lab for a while now, and as soon as I stepped foot into the gym, I knew it was going to be the right move. So right then and there, I committed to the lab, and I've been happy ever since.
And you also do have absolute killers in there, as well as having those UFC vets like Jared Cannonier and Brian Barberena, who how has it been to be able to try and pick their minds a bit?
It's awesome because not only that they're savages and high level fighters with a ton of experience, but they are very humble and they pretty much they don't act like they're superstars even though they are. They act like they're just a regular old fighter, and they spread their wisdom and their knowledge throughout all of us, and they definitely help the team as far as like trajectory going towards the goals that we want.
And what do you feel like has been the best piece of advice that you've got?
Just show up. That's one thing I love about the gym is you're only going to get better when you show up. So show up every day, whether you're going to train really hard or you're just going to sit back on the side and study. Just show up and you'll get better every time.
And obviously, with your division in the UFC, it is starting to have that new challenge. You've got that new champion now, Joshua Van. How do you kind of rate that division in the UFC?
It's a fun division. So when it comes to the flyweights, I feel like from start to finish with the roster, they're all savages. It's not just the top 15, but you take a look at anybody in that flyweight roster, they're going to be a tough fight.
I mean, you just need to look at the main event, which is happening tomorrow. You've got Moreno and you have Kavaha, who isn't even ranked, and you're still even looking at that fight, and you can still give chances for Kavaha to get the victory. It just shows you how deadly that division is when you're coming up, seeing former champions face these unranked contenders, and you're still giving these people chances.
100%. Like I mentioned, top to bottom, everybody on that flyweight roster is a savage.
And do you feel like that is just the power of being able to stay ready, staying in shape, keeping your mind out there? Is if a late short notice call up comes up, you're ready to snap it. And Kabaha obviously got that coming up.
Yeah, I think that goes for any weight class, just being ready and being able to seize the opportunity whenever it presents itself.
Now, obviously, you are now 8-0, going up to 9-0. Are you starting to kind of take a look at the fight card coming up to see if that opportunity comes up in the UFC? You can snap it, and you do have that sort of a game plan going into it. Obviously, you're not going to study each fight individually as much as what you like, but just have some sort of game plan going into it.
I wouldn't say much of a game plan. I mean, I'm a pretty big fan of the sport, so a lot of the people that fight in my division, I don't know all of them, but I do know a decent amount of them. And actually, when it came to the fight card last week, I kept my weight pretty low just in case they needed a last minute guy.
Yeah.
So on after practice on Wednesday, obviously I still eat, still hydrate, but I didn't go too crazy just because if that short notice opportunity calls, I'll answer.
And do you feel like that is where you are right now at this game? Is you can't have any off days. You're at that point in your career where you know that call up can happen. So you just need to stay in that mindset and just keep grinding each and every day.
100%. You just always got to be ready, because opportunities aren't always going to be there. And like I mentioned, whenever the opportunity presents itself, you got to take it.
And once you get that victory, what would you rank? I know some fighters they do prefer to be able to go into that contender series to be able to earn their way into the UFC that way. Some fighters just don't care how it happens. If you had the choice, how would you like to get to the UFC?
To be honest, it doesn't really matter to me. Everyone knows how this story ends.
Yeah.
I'll be the champ one day. As far as how it happens, we'll figure that out together.
And how do you feel like stylistically, how do you match up against Champ?
again
Van.
against Matt. I think we would be a fun fight. You know, he likes to throw hands, I like to throw
Yeah,
hands. Um, I mean, I don't really think he wrestles, and I wrestle here and there, but on the feet, it's gonna be a fun fight to watch.
it is a really high pace fight whenever you're in that cage. You don't like to take a step back. You don't like to slow down. And I think that is just what the matchmakers are looking for. They're not wanting these 1-2, wait a minute, take you to the ground and just hug you type fighters. You're now starting to see these type of fighters be able to get released, like Almeida, for example, number 6 ranked fighter in the UFC. Two boringish fights, he's gone. Do you feel like that is how the UFC should be handling it now? If you aren't entertaining, you're out.
Yeah, so I know a lot of people have different thoughts about this, but people, you gain money and you gain eyes from being an exciting fighter, you know, and if you're going to be a boring fighter, then there's a reason why the UFC are letting those people go. It's because they're not bringing eyes to the game, you know,
Yeah.
they're not bringing money to the game. So I think I have the perfect style for it. You know, I come out hard and I come out pretty aggressive. So I just can't wait for my opportunity in the UFC. It's going to be fun.
And you do like to stay active as well. I think you had two fights last year, but then you were also scheduled to have a fight in March. You're meant to fight in April as well. So that if you got them all, that would have been 4 fights. I know March and April would be a quick turnaround, but even 3 fights in 1 year, that's what people are looking for. That's what they're aiming for. You're wanting to keep having that activity streak. Is that what you're looking for this year? If you can, is that 3 fight mark?
Yeah, I would love to fight as many times as I can every year. You know, it depend like obviously you gotta stay healthy, you gotta take care of
Yeah.
the body, but yeah, as many times as I can. Three, four, I'd say that's like the perfect number. Best case scenario, maybe even five, you know, if I stay healthy.
And what has been the biggest improvement in your game since that last fight against Justin?
Say everything, you know, at the lab, we're just focused on growing as not just a fighter also, but as an individual. And I feel like being at the lab has honestly just been such a blessing because they're definitely helping me progress in every aspect of my life.
And which fight so far in your career has been your toughest test?
I'd say Devin Jackson. And the reason why is because, for one thing, he's a dog, he's tough. And also, I don't think I was ready to take a fight at that time. The only reason why I took the fight is because I was helping Amir train for Brandon Moreno. And my coaches thought since I'm helping him with his camp, I might as well jump in camp too.
Yeah,
But I had that pretty long layoff before that fight, and I kind of just rushed back into it.
exactly. And which was it that fight or which fight was it? I know speaking to fighters, they go, "This fight is the fight I know I can make something in the sport." Which fight was that for you?
As far as my previous fights,
Yeah, as far as your previous fights, which one was it that you went, "Hey, this can be something I can do for a living"?
you know, I think it was my first fight actually. My as a pro, once I had that first, that's still my favorite knockout, my pro debut, and once I knocked that guy out, I obviously I love the sport, but I kind of re-fell in love with it again.
And how beneficial has it been knowing that your full fight career so far as a pro has been under that LFA banner? Being able to start in a promotion as big as LFA and being able to climb up the ranks to be able to get to that main event, kind of like a fairy tale. You've worked your way and grinded up to the top.
Yeah, fortunate, man. So being able to make my debut with LFA is obviously like a huge, huge blessing. A lot of people, you know, there's some people who do make their debuts with LFA, but for me to be one of those guys, obviously very, very fortunate for that. And being able to fight with the LFA over my past, however many, or my past 8 fights, you know, they're a fun promotion to fight for. You know, I love the staff. I love the way they run things, and to be honest, I'm happy to keep fighting for the LFA until I get signed with the UFC.
And how much do you think having that, also they have left that UFC Fight Pass banner and they've got their TV deal now. How big do you feel like that is going to be to help with the progression of LFA?
Huge respect for them because when I first heard that they were parting ways with UFC Fight Pass, I was obviously like everybody, we're kind of confused, wondering
Yeah.
why they canceled their partnership. And huge respect for them. From what I heard, I don't know how accurate this is, but from what I heard, the UFC wanted to own the rights to the LFA, and LFA said, "Hey, we want to keep our own rights, so we love sending our guys to the UFC. That's obviously what our goal is, but we want to stay." Our own company. So huge respect to them for that.
And do you feel like that is kind of what companies starting to need to do a bit more? It's obviously it's great to have that UFC Fight Pass banner under it, but at the end of the day, these organizations are sending the guys to the UFC. They should still own the rights to the fights.
It's entirely up to that promotion's goal, So I know some companies and some promotions want to stay under the UFC banner, which is or under the UFC Fight Pass banner, which is completely fine. It just didn't seem like it was what the LFA was wanting to do.
And after you get the victory, on fight night, how are you going to be celebrating this fight? Is there a certain type of food you like to go out to have after a fight, or what is it that you like to do?
Yeah, we're gonna go to Pacific Rim. That's my favorite local Hawaiian spot here in Arizona. So they're gonna throw after party for me. There's gonna be lots of food. So just excited to eat and enjoy a good time around the people that I love.
And what's the first thing on the menu?
Let's see. Chico chicken. I think that or I don't know. There's so many things that they make that's good. So to be honest, you can go to Pacific Rim, close your eyes, point at something on the menu, and you'll love it. I can guarantee that.
And how much weight do you normally cut to be able to make it to fight night?
So I don't walk around like super, super heavy. Right now I'm about mid 40s. I guess that's like 20-ish pounds, but in my opinion, it's not hard to cut weight. It does suck because I love to eat, but we'll figure that out.
And obviously, as fight fans, we just see you take the fight, walk to fight night, and get the victory. But what do you feel like has been the biggest sacrifice that has happened?
I'd say the biggest sacrifice is just the toll that it takes on my body. Like obviously, I obviously want kids at some point in my life, and I want to be able to run around with my kids. So all this damage and miles that I put on my body it is a lot, but that's why I got people around me to help me take care of it.
Do you feel like with Justin Gaethje, he also said quite a few years ago, "I'm going to go into 5 wars. Once I've had those 5 wars, that's me hanging up the gloves," because he was obviously wanting to keep his health intact. Is that do you have something around that, or are you just going to keep seeing take the professional's opinion after each fight?
I'd say take it fight by fight. We'll see how it goes. Also listen to the people around me because the people that I keep around me obviously look out for my best interests. So we'll take it fight by fight.
And how important has it been to be able to find that team that is right for you?
Very important. Even though you walk into the cage alone, you can't do it without a team. And I'm just fortunate to have the team and the people I have around me.
And make sure you guys tune in on March 13th. You do not want to see, and you do want to see, you cannot wait to see Christian go in there, get that knockout, and secure his spot in that UFC roster. Is there anything you'd like to add or anyone you want to shout out?
I just come watch March 13th, Friday the 13th. It's gonna be a fun night. I say this every time, but there's gonna be lots of fireworks, and every time I said that, yeah, it's typically fireworks.
Exactly. Couldn't say it better myself. You guys do not want to miss it. March 13th, LFA 228. Thank you.